Okay, welcome back to the next part of the video. In the last video, we were redoing challenge number 3. This is one of the default scenarios that comes with Orbiter 2010. I completed challenges number 1 and 2, and then when I started to do challenge number 3, I ran into a stupid problem and ended up crashing into the moon, so I decided to redo it. I finished getting the plan set up here for this mid-course correction. Just a lot of fiddling back and forth with the variables, and I didn't want to sit there and record that for 10 more minutes. So I got that all figured out. And now we've got a closest approach with the Luna wheel of only 648 meters. That's going to be good enough. So let's unpause. Let's go to view target. And we need to get rotated quickly. I'm actually going to miss the time here. Probably because I don't think I'll get rotated in the 14 seconds that I've got. And maybe I will. Oops, kind of overshot that. It'll be pretty close, we'll get it. Okay. Full power on the main. Backing off the main.
Translation.
And there we have that burn done. Cost me a little bit more than I'd like, but I really want to try to catch the wheel. Catch the Luna wheel. Oh my gosh, am I below the surface again? I am. We'll have to check on that. So maneuver mode off.
Rotation. Translation.
And just a little bit here with translation to get that closest approach as low as I can for now. Okay, take a look outside. I'm not even sure where I'm at. There's the moon. So now let me warp time forward. Get closer to the moon. Probably have to do another mid-course correction for the... Yeah, it's really unfortunate that these things just don't hold. I just have to make sure that I'm going to rendezvous with the space station prior to periapsis, because periapsis... Actually, I guess now I'm not hitting the moon, so maybe we'll be okay. So here at about 0.85, about right here, do another mid-course correction, because now I'm missing the Luna wheel by 28 kilometers. That's too much. So maneuver mode on, and hopefully we can do this quickly without spending too much time tinkering with TransX. But I do need to set the date into the future. So let's go let's give myself 14 minutes to set this up. I don't believe it'll take that long, of course, but so 5614, that's when I'm going to do the maneuver. That's good enough. Okay. Now, so we're kind of starting here with prograde to see what that does, and that's not right. So prograde isn't really helping, so let's reset that. And let's do outward first. It's kind of the wrong way, and that's helping, so let's do outward. Bringing closest approach down, counter velocity. That's actually not too much to worry about because we have to do a braking burn around the moon anyway. So we're just going to combine the braking burn with the rendezvous. So it looks like all we need is some outward, basically. And a little bit of plane change. That's the wrong way. That's the right way. And back to outward. A little bit more on the plane change, and we'll say that's good enough. That's good enough. And VAR over to update. And VAW to target.
Rotation.
So we're almost retrograde right now. We need to be... Let's see, we need to be... we need to be outward, which actually would have been the other way. Okay, so the green X is almost lined up, but we do want to make sure that we do this burn at a specific time. Since we're trying to rendezvous, the timing is fairly delicate. You know, some of these mid-course corrections, when you're between two bodies, the timing, not so important. But here, we're trying to catch a moving object, so it's definitely time critical. Let's warp time forward, get closer to that point. And before we commit to the burn, let's go forward a little more. Let's VW over to TART maneuver, update. You can see things change, you know, fairly quickly. So just a touch of refinement here. Certainly good enough. Warp time forward to get over to the time to begin the burn. And just a few more seconds to go. Let's go back to real time, get the green X nice and centered. It's probably about as good as that's going to get. And we use a touch of main engine so that we can do the burn a little bit more quickly than just using translation. So burning in 1 second.
Translation.
Okay, now VW to maneuver. Off, and you can see we're really close.
Rotate. Translation.
Oh, it's not off yet. Now it's off. Okay, let's check our encounter. MJD is 5.5. Let's see, 6.2, 6.2. PEA is below the surface again, so we gotta watch that. So in other words, I need to, if I don't encounter, I need to do the braking burn like out here somewhere. So hopefully, we do a Control S. And if I screw this up again, I'll pick up from that save point. But it looks to me like I'm going to do the maneuver, the braking burn here, which is before I would hit the moon. Let's go back to real time for a moment. And let's just fiddle with translation a little bit. Bring that closest approach down instead of setting up a maneuver. And while I'm thinking about it, let's set up ComNav. We'll definitely need that information here very soon. So it's 132.70 for the long range. And let's set up both 136 and 136.20. That way, I don't know which side of the Luna wheel I'm going to end up at. Okay, so that's all set up. And let's actually switch to the docking HUD now. And let's warp time forward. Carefully. 6262, so we're not too far away. Okay, back to real time for just a moment.
Rotation translation.
Just a little bit on the translations. That's the wrong way. Just bring that closest approach in really tight. Okay, and also let me bring up a line, burn time, and we're going to have an encounter of 1663, so I need to know when I'm this many kilometers out, that's when I need to do the braking burn. Okay, let's go forward. So the Luna wheel's here, we're here. And it's 6262. And it's today, so we should be, okay, here we are. We've got our data for the wheel. We're 680 kilometers out.
Rotation.
Now we're going to rotate to the negative velocity vector because we're going to do, we're going to use the full power of the main engines to do the braking burn. And this will rendezvous, this will complete the rendezvous, and it will circularize our orbit around the moon. Kill two birds with one burn. Okay, so we need to go forward to, again, 96 kilometers. We'll start the burn at 97, that way we've got time to brake in front of the wheel. We don't want to go through it. Just watching, let me actually bring up, we don't really need TransX anymore, we got what we need there, so let's bring up the docking MFD, because this distance readout is not always exactly the same, so I'm going to trust this one. And we'll get reoriented here in a moment. We need to get in a little closer first. Okay, it's almost time to do the burn. Let's get lined up. Just take a look outside. Guessing that's the wheel. I can kind of see a flicker. Okay, again, 97 kilometers, and we press the burn button. So we're almost there. And burning. And if we watch orbit MFD, we should see, there, yeah, we're captured, and our PEA will come up, our APA will go down, so we're circularizing while we're doing this. Yeah, that's the wheel there, I can see it. Probably doesn't show up quite in the video playback, but it'll get closer to us in a moment. 55 kilometers out. Now you can kind of start to see it. $38 out.
Translate rotation.
Get rotated here a little bit better. And our orbit coming along nicely. We're 18 kilometers out. Ten kilometers out. Let me check on burn time calculator to make sure it doesn't abort the burn too soon or anything. Okay, still 27 seconds left on the burn. 5 kilometers out. We can really see the Luna wheel now. Alright, let's get inside just to make sure that we keep everything centered correctly. 2 kilometers to go. 12 seconds left on the burn. 5 seconds. And here we are. Okay, let's check everything. Yep, our velocity's about 0 and we're about 1 kilometer out, so that's exactly what we needed to have happen. That's what I was trying to do last time, but ran into the moon in the process. Okay, now let's switch over to nav 2.
Translation. Rotation.
And let's get ourselves docked with this thing, and then we completed challenge number 3. I don't know that we necessarily saved fuel by doing it this way, because we weren't burning at periapsis, so we weren't having the most efficient burn that we would have otherwise. But
Translation.
all right, let's move toward the wheel. Let's sidestep over a bit. Let's open the nose cone since it's giving us a nice warning there. And we'll copy that out to the, copy that information up to the HUD so that we have a docking corridor to look at, something to aim for. Bring the velocity vector around, aim for about right there.
Rotation.
And let's put in a little bit more, oops,
Translation. Rotation. Translation.
a little bit more forward velocity so that we don't take forever and a day to do this. Now let's warp time forward. Right now I'm just trying to move in front of the docking port. You can see what's happening here. We're just getting over here to the point where we're in front of the port. Back to real time.
Rotation. Translation.
Move our velocity vector a bit more, and let's warp time forward again. And we're getting pretty close to the point where we're in front of the port, so let's rotate to face the Luna wheel now and kind of start getting our orientation set up. Okay, warp time forward. Back to real time.
Translation.
Translate, slow things down a bit. Move forward a little faster because we're still 180 meters out.
Rotation.
And it's warp time forward just to move forward to closer to the port. Okay.
Translation.
And slow down our forward movement.
Rotation.
Okay, we're rotated where we need to be. Slow down our forward movement some more. See where we're at. We're basically right in front of the port, but we're up here a bit, so we need to kind of translate down and over a little. Put in a little more forward movement because we're almost translated here where we need to be. And we're going to pretty much switch to control thrusters here pretty soon. Yeah, matter of fact, now. Moving forward, and I think once again I'm just gonna dock with it. I'm not gonna worry about the rotation, because trying to match the rotation is it's not hard to match the rotation, but what ends up happening is that your axes end up a bit off, and then trying to chase that around while rotating is for me at least, that's too much. Okay, we're perfectly lined up for the moment. Moving forward at a good speed. Let's actually speed it up a little bit more, and then we'll slow it down when we get in a little closer. But if we look outside, we can see what's going on. We're right in front of it. Everything's good. We're going inside. Slow things down a little bit. Translate over because we're drifting. Slow down a little more. So we have a nice gentle dock here. Slow down just a little bit more. And there we have it. Challenge number 3 complete after 2 attempts. Of course, the first attempt should have been a success, and it would have been a success because, again, it's not a challenge to do this. But depending on how you go about doing it, you know, if you want to get into orbit first and then rendezvous, or if you want to do it like I did, which is just to go straight in, that does add a little bit to the challenge. But it's still not difficult. You just have to make sure that you don't run into the moon before you rendezvous with the space station. And it's a little hard to see that in TransX with the with the way that graph projection works. I never could get a graph projection. Let me hit enter. So 2884.14. I'll show you if I can now. This is what I was looking to get. You see, once I'm docked and everything's set up, it gives me a clear view. And this is the graph projection angle that I was trying to get in TransX, where this shows me clearly this is the moon, and you know, we're in orbit above the moon all the way around. But sometimes you just get these weird angles, you know, where like it does this. And this can be useful in some cases, but when you're coming out to the moon and you're trying to, you know, catch an object, you can't really tell which part of this is behind the moon or whatever, so you don't know where you're hitting the moon at. You know, and then plan, ecliptic, same one. So usually focus will give me this view, and this one's really good, but, you know, when I'm looking at the graph projection and seeing this, it's like, okay, I guess, I don't know, you know, this part is the front part of the moon, obviously, I think, or maybe this is, I don't know. Anyway, you get the point. It's just hard to tell, you know, without actually having a 3D model that you could spin around which part, because technically all of this is above the moon, right? Because, I mean, we're orbiting the moon here. So when it shows that you're rendezvousing at this point, but somehow you're crashing into the moon's surface, I don't know how you can know if you don't get this type of view. So anyway, that's it for challenge number 3. Someday I'll visit it again and try to beat my own score. But for now, we're going to move on to challenge number 4. If you like this video, leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel, check my description for a link to my Facebook page, and I'll see you in the next video.